Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. So glad to be here with you guys on a wonderful Tuesday evening. I have no idea what day of the month it is, or it is March the 9th.
Yes.
So it is the 9th day of Women's History Month 2021. We want to send a shout out to all of the lovely ladies all over the world. And we don't mean that in a fresh mannish way. We mean lovely as in beautiful, creative, all of that good stuff in honor of Women's History Month. And speaking of the statement that I just made, we're going to talk about that later on in the show this evening. If you guys have not heard, but a cartoon character, Pepé Le Pew, is now being brought up on rape culture charges. And this afternoon, news is broken that also Speedy Gonzalez is now, in question. And so I know what a hell of a way to open a show, but we want to keep your attention and make sure you stick around for that conversation. Then also one of our favorite family medicine practitioners, Dr. Janet Seabrook, will be by tonight to talk about women's health and women's self-care during Women's History Month. All right, so I have three co-hosts. I'm a host and I have three co-hosts. That sounded a little weird, didn't it? Yes, I'm a host and I have three co-hosts. Over in the box next to me, over there, is the amazing Miss Kay Renee, the creator of Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge. What up, Kay Renee?
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello.
How are you, dear?
I'm good. The weather was beautiful.
Yes. Got up to the 70s here in Chicago. To my understanding, it got to 70 degrees today. So yes, quite beautiful day. I have the windows open and they call this Fool's Spring because everybody's out. Oh yeah, I've had 100 motorcycles go past my house, people in shorts, tank tops, all of that. And it'll probably be snowing next week. So, all right. I know it will. What did Prince say? All right.
Snow in April.
That's right. Well, in the box down here, over there, yay, is the one and only Miss Kim Coleman, aka Sister Girl Speaks, based out of Oklahoma City. We're so glad to have her here tonight with us. What up, Sister Kim? How you doing tonight?
Hello. The weather here, I'm doing good. Thank you. The weather here is great. It's going to be 80 degrees tomorrow.
Shut up.
Oh God. Don't please do not rub it in. We don't no, not 80 degrees.
Well, I'm not going to rub it in too bad because as you know, we're going to be entering into the tornado season.
Right.
So you all, it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other.
Yes. All right. Well, enjoy those 80-degree temperatures tomorrow. Last but not least is my fellow radio brother, quite the conversationalist, all-around great guy. He calls himself Chris Bass. But I know him as the Boom Shakalaka. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, the amazing Mr. Chris Bass, Boom Shakalaka. Down there.
Thank you so much, and a hearty Boom Shakalaka to all of you. This means the world to me. I always like your work, and I love your work, and I know you're a great guy as well. And I've also become a fan of Kay Renee and Kim Coleman. So to be on the panel with everybody, it's going to be very, very interesting.
Oh, yay. Very good. Well, I figured this would make for a great combination. So that's why I said, let's get some people in these seats tonight and let's laugh, talk. There's so much we need to talk about. I want to start off first by saying Piers Morgan stormed off of the set. What is it? Good Morning Britain. Much like our morning shows here over his Meghan Markle comments. And so I don't even know where to start with this foolishness. All I know is a lot of these people that have been sitting at the top for so long, they need to move on. And I'm not mad about him, moving on. Who wants to start with this?
I do. I just want to say this. I'm sure you guys have thought it. I spoke with Art before we went live. The reason why he has had such a tizzy, I believe, honestly, he likes Meghan. And I don't mean just like it, she's the Duchess. I think he likes her. And he tells the story of how they had dinner. She ordered a dirty martini, and then she was like, I'm out. She attended a party of which that same night, who did she meet? Art, Kim, and Chris. She met Prince Harry that same night. And ever since then, he never saw her again. So I personally believe he wants some Meghan. And because Meghan was like, she was being very professional in their conversation, but she wasn't feeling him like that. So I just think he's just a little scorned. And after that, he been acting such a fool. So as we say around here, bye, Felix. Bye.
Right. Interesting. You quite possibly could be onto something there. Kim, what do you think about all of this?
Yes, I had heard the same story that was the night that he met Meghan, that she met Harry. Piers Morgan's panties are always in a knot. He's always in a knot. He is a Trumpster, and which for me that disqualifies him for a lot of things. So as far as I'm concerned, good riddance, and I'm sure he'll have another job before the end of this week. So probably with Fox News.
Interesting. Brother Bass, where are you at on all of this? You are a news junkie. I know you may not be a Royals fan like I am, but you do keep your finger on the pulse of Europe and their news. What do you think about this?
Well, Piers Morgan always been cultivated. His behavior has always been cradled by a network. Why? Because he makes money. He draws in viewers. And back in the day, when you were a celebrity here in America, you went to the altar of two hosts. It was the late, great Larry King or Oprah Winfrey. Those are two you went to. So now that you have Oprah still here, we saw the interview, those who have seen it, with Meghan and Harry. And it was very inspiring and very enlightening. And so regardless of his personal, going back to what Kay Renee was saying about the whole personal stuff, that he was scorned, still the fact that these people are beloved by a lot of people. We saw the article where 41,000 people complained about what he did, called for his ouster. People are tired of that type of crap behavior. Yep. And the fact this woman did not have to go on a national platform to have Oprah Winfrey interview them to talk about the skin tone of the baby that the world people were talking about, suicidal thoughts. You don't have to share that. But the fact that who you are, people can relate to that. And people are tired of the bullying mentality. So good riddance, like I said before, what Kim was saying, the bad rubbish. Like anybody else, he's probably geared for a new job around the way. So this could just be an exit strategy if you do something else.
Yep. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, he definitely will land on his feet because those that love and like him and supporters, and as Kim said, a Trumpster, we don't have to worry about that. I almost said he's a white American man, but even better, he's a white British man. So he's going, land on his feet. I just think, it's sad, the comments, the treatment, but I'm with you, Kay Renee. A lot of times people are very upset and mad because something they want and they can't get. And the way I look at it, so here's the deal. Piers Morgan, Prince Harry. Oh, give me the ginger any day. Give me the ginger any day. Give me the ginger any day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I done put a lid on that pot. Okay. Right. Well, and she does what any other person would do in her position. Date around, meet people, move around. That's what it's all about. When you get in a circle like that, you move around. Yeah, no, Yeah, she right with the ginger. The ginger gonna act right. Yes. All right. Well, let's move on.
And he has acted right.
Yeah, amen. Look, again, we said last night that Yum Yum must be powerful because it made him walk away from royalty. You understand me?
Right.
So, right.
That's
so,
right.
All right. Well, with that being said, today it is alleged or rumored that Target could be taking over the old Macy's space at the Water Tower Place. As you guys all know, the Chicago Water Tower Place at one point was a shopping mall of opulence and luxury. It was the most visited tourist attraction, one of the most visited shopping malls in the country. Just to be a tenant in that particular mall, a retail tenant, was, put you on the level of you. Wow. Dining, everything is in there. So it is being reported today that they possibly could be putting a Target there on the first floor level of Macy's. And so, Kim, if I'm not mistaken, I remember you saying that, you ever since it stopped being Marshall Fields, you ain't had no love for it, right? So what do you think about this?
I remember going into Marshall Fields and they had like a little counter there, and I can remember getting some kind of root beer float or something. And my mother always tells the story about how my dad got my first snowsuit at Marshall Fields. And I used to work there in the Big Red. And I remember it's on payday going to field days, not in, the water tower, but sometimes.
Right.
So it's just, I'm very nostalgic about Marshall Fields. And for Target, I love Target. I'm not, that bougie. I love me some Target. But it's it's really the end of an era. And I know Marshall Fields has been gone for a while, but I wish it could come back.
Yeah.
In the show Lovecraft, I don't know if you all watched it. The lady, one of the main characters there, her first job, she wanted to be the first the second Black woman to work at Marshall Fields. And they did an excellent duplication of the Marshall Fields on State Street on Lovecraft. And when I was watching the show, I was like, oh, that's my Marshall Fields. So yeah, they depicted it in Marshall Fields. Yeah. I mean, in Lovecraft.
Another thing, Kim, if you remember the movie Mahogany, when Mahogany with Diana Ross' character. Where was she working initially? At Marshall Fields.
Right.
So, I'm like you. Target is Target, but now that Macy's is gone, and you wonder what other discount stores are going to pop up at Water Tower Place, because that was the place you go after high school, because I went to Whitney Young. It was right near the West Loop. We come downtown, go to Marshall Fields, go get some Garrett's popcorn, start walking up and down the floors of Water Tower Place. So it's just different now. It really is.
Well, what people have got to realize, these type of institutions were not necessarily built for the reason we most enjoy them for. They were really built for the tourism, the economic engine of that particular community. You have people that live in that Gold Coast area that feel as if Target will tarnish that image. Where I've gone into some Targets that have been like the super Targets, and they have had their layout and display and things so amazing that it makes you say, wow, I really want to shop at this Target. So I don't know. I mean, and another thing is Target is a type of store that if it's something you want and you see it, everybody on this camera tonight can order it online, no matter where you are in size, price, whatever. So, I think that's just the new way of how we're going with our retail. I don't know. What do you think, Base?
Well, change is always inevitable. I mean, like everybody else, you have memories of Marshall Fields, or whether it's, there at the Water Tower, or also the fact of on State Street back in the day. For me, my family, the State Street there on Randolph, I mean, my God, Frango mints come to mind, the walnut room and things of that nature. Like K. Renee said, I went to Kenwood Academy, so we would go with our friends to go to the Water Tower, and it was the mecca of just being there, just being in the space and being in the place. And so change, happens, but sometimes, like I said before, it's an era gone by. You hate to see it go. I'm a traditionalist at heart. Change is going to happen, but I guess I was more upset that Macy's, originated from New York, come to Chicago and take over. I was just like, I'm very territorial.
Right.
So at the time, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But the whole thing with Target, I agree. It's just a sign of the times. And Target people do love prices. They do love to save money. That doesn't go away. That's going to be, universal. So I think it will be accepted. You do probably have some blowback with certain people, a certain age range. But overall, you got to think about the future. And what do people want now? And what's going on now online and exposure and branding. So that's where Target comes in.
Right. And here's another thing that I want people of the Gold Coast to understand. Listen, Filene's Basement was there, discount store. H&M was there, a European discount store, on the level of really Foreman Meals, not to just throw out names, but on that level, but European clothing. I mean, small sizes, all that. Top Shop, that wasn't like, so you had that sprinkled in there. Really, the groundbreaking stores were Limited Express, stores like that, because that was a way of people of a certain age being able to dress and go to work, and and really, who goes downtown now other than our young demographic?
Wow.
We don't really. When was the last time you've been in downtown Chicago? Question yourself on that. And just hung out downtown Chicago. And I'm talking about pre-pandemic. If you did, other than work downtown, when was the last time you just said, "Oh, I'm going to stroll down Michigan Avenue leisurely"?
Wow.
In a minute. Been a minute.
Right.
I can't even stroll anymore.
Okay.
Right.
Where'd you say, Bates? You came what? 2 years ago, Kim. Okay. And did you stroll when you were, down there and enjoy shopping and all of that? Or
I went down, I was basically at, what is the name of that place with the Ferris wheel? I was there, and then I was
Navy Pier.
And then John Hancock. Yeah.
Navy Pier and John Hancock. Okay. Yeah. See? Right. But as far as, my good friend's mother, it was regular for her to get up one day a week and come down on Michigan Avenue and stroll Neiman's and all those stores, and she'd have lunch with a girlfriend somewhere, and then she'd take the Jeffrey bus back home. People are not doing that anymore like that. Remember? Yeah. My grandmother and aunts and people like that used to do that. That was their lady outings. People don't do that anymore. They don't.
Wow.
No, they don't. I mean, I can't even do like Morris Day to walk. Let alone go walk downtown.
You so ignorant. You so ignorant.
Walk downtown.
You ignorant. Let's move on with today's coronavirus update. As Ignorant takes a break, that is too funny. Illinois Public Health has released that half of the residents 65 and up have received at least one of the dosages of the COVID-19 vaccine. So far, 75,372 doses have been administered, 1,510 new cases, and we only had 16 deaths in the last 24 hours. And so far, we are now up to 92,100 daily vaccines that have been given, 92,180. So people are definitely going to get their shots. Very good. How's everything in your area, Kim?
Everything's going good. I was just looking at CNN, surprise, and they were just talking about how the number of cases are slowly going down. The vaccines are going up, and they say, CDC, of course, issued that saying, you mentioned that yesterday, Art, that if you've had it, you can see your loved ones, but they are saying that you cannot. They're warning you not to travel. So of course, that's the one that I'm really looking at. When can I travel?
Yeah. Well, I fully understand that. Sometimes you have to go out on faith. Other times you know your precautionaries. That is question. But I do see a lot of people doing a lot of road trips this spring and summer. I see a lot of people maybe, I don't even know what it would be like to ride the rails through all of this. We see the commercials where they're saying to ride the rails will help. So I don't know, maybe I'll take a train trip, to kind of see what it's like to ride the rails. But the travel thing is going to be really big once we get it started, Yeah. Looking
forward to it.
Yes. All right. Well, let's continue on. Anybody else has a news story they want to talk about tonight? It's got to be something on the hot seat.
Well, I sent one to you guys regarding Burger King.
Burger King. What's going on at Burger King?
Burger King is in trouble, honey, because they made this big thing about women, and I guess given the fact it's Women's History Month, and they were saying women need to be in the kitchen. Women should be in the kitchen. That kind of language during Women's History Month, they got a serious backlash.
I can
And
only
instead,
imagine.
they were trying to convey the message of female chefs, promoting cooking, but it didn't come out that way. So it's been a huge, backlash about that. Basically, the title of this article is Burger King gets grilled for women belong in the kitchen tweets. And the purpose was to support female chefs, but that's not what they said. They tweeted and said these 5 words: women belong in the kitchen.
Wow. Interesting.
Backlash.
Right. And you wonder who was the idiot that hit send. That's all I can say in a particular situation. Who was the idiot that hit send? I don't know. Any of my other fellow co-hosts want to chime in on Burger King in this statement?
No.
You would think that there would be some progression by now, but it's not. Cavemen do still exist. That's not even that should not even be a mindset. What's next? Oh, I got it. Keep them barefoot and pregnant. See, that's around the corner. You know what I'm saying? See, that type of mentality still exists. So you might as well put it out there as well. How dumb can you go? You must be a box of rocks to leave and let that fly out of somebody's mouth. But behind closed doors, we say we want to say, and we forget the doors open. Oh, well, maybe they figure, okay, we say behind closed doors, say it outside the door as well. So these type of stupid remarks need to have pushback. First of all, it's stupid. Second of all, you're living in the 21st century. Third, get your head out of your proverbial behind and give it the times.
All right. Wow. Kim?
I had 2. I didn't have anything to say. I had 2 stories that I wanted to share.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay. The first one is the COVID bill is set to be passed the House tomorrow. Of course, the Democrats are in the majority, and President Biden is set to sign it on Thursday. And we talked about what's in that COVID bill: $1,400 to qualified people, $300 enhancement to unemployment, along with COVID relief. There's also a big incentive in there to help Black farmers. Representative Clyburn was talking about that today. So some of the best government help for Black farmers in years. So that's really great. And of course, things to help with schools with opening. President Biden is going to address the nation for the first time in a national address on Thursday night. I am not sure what time that's going to be, but this will be his first time addressing the nation. He's going to also travel throughout the country to sell this bill. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and my second story is former First Lady Michelle Obama will be inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame. They said that they're going to be doing this year. It also includes a class of Mia Hamm. She's the soccer player. Yes. NASA's first African-American female engineer, Katherine Johnson. The movie that Henry Figures was based on. And Pepsico's first female CEO, Indra Nooyi. I hope I said that right. So that's
Nooyi, yes. Of PepsiCo, yes.
Yeah.
India.
So we're excited about that. I know you Chicagoans, especially you Dolphins, are excited about that.
That's right.
Very good. Very good. Brother Bass, anything
and Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to take place in October, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
All right, we all good. I think we're on a little delay tonight, but can everybody still hear me okay? Raise your hand
Yes.
if you can still hear me.
Yes.
Raise your finger.
Yes.
Yay! Fabulous. Beautiful. All right. Well, for those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. We're kind of like a kung fu movie tonight. We're on a delay. We meant nothing racial by that. We just wanted to tell you guys, so just hang in with us. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll welcome back to the show Dr. Janet Seabrook, noted family medicine practitioner based out of Northwest Indiana. She's here in honor of Women's History Month tonight, but we're also going to talk about women's health issues and how women need to take care of their health and self-care. All right. Hanging out with me tonight is the amazing crew over there in that box is the amazing Miss K. Renee of Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge. Down there is Sister Kim, Miss Kim Coleman of Sister Girl Speaks. And the man right there is my brother from another mother, the one and only Mr. Chris Bass, better known as Boom Shaka Laka 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 Laka. You know, they stealing from you, Chris. You know, I want you in that commercial.
You know, I did not get my check
Right.
from the Geico commercial. Y'all looking forward to that.
Right. You needed to be in that commercial. You really needed to
Oh,
be in
man.
that
French
commercial.
Vanilla, Rocky Road, Hot Glue.
That's right.
Yeah, I could have done that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes, you could have. Very good. Well, Chris, anything you want to bring up tonight on the show real quick before
yes.
we move on?
Yeah, quick. Thank you so much. I'm going to do it on my Baseline show Friday at 4 p.m. and really at 5:30. As some of you may know by now, the time Harry Belafonte hosted the Tonight Show back in 1968, Johnny Carson, who was the host then, said, "You know what? I'm going to give you a week." And he brought on these fantastic guests during this time. He had total autonomy. He did it his way. Some of the footage is now found in the documentaries on it. I reported I heard about since last year. Well, on my show on Friday, I really want to address that because Harry Belafonte did a fantastic week of programming. He brought on Dr. King. This was the last public appearance he did before he got assassinated, unfortunately. He brought on Robert Kennedy. He brought on all these powerful guests on this week. So he has been erased from history, but thank God we're able to now acknowledge the fact that thank God that he's still with us at 90 years old. Harry Belafonte hosts the Week of Tonight shows that should go down in the history of that program.
That's right. That's right.
And you know, that's really surprising,
Very
Chris,
good.
that it was never publicized that. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was great history. It was great history. You know, you're on one panel he's hosting the show is Dr. King, Paul Newman, Nipsey Russell on one panel during this time.
Wow.
So he had these various guests, Dionne Warwick. They were throughout the whole week. He would open the show by singing a song, go to the desk, and do his quick monologue, have the guest on. He also showed home movies. He really put the personal spin on the fact that we're Black people. We have lives too. He humanized us during a turbulent time in our life. It was a week of, I want to say, February 5th of 1968. Brilliant, just sheer brilliance. I'm going to address that coming up on my show on Friday.
That's amazing.
Okay. Very good. All right. Well, make sure you guys follow Mr. Chris Bass. Baseline is his show. Before the show is over tonight, of course, he'll tell you how you can follow him. That's a wonderful conversation, Bass, about Harry Belafonte. Really, I do love his style and just imagery. As you guys all know, I'm on TikTok now, and I'm a TikTok fool now. But what I've been doing is y'all must admit my stuff is sharp now. I've been using older songs as my bedliners. I've been using songs that would, bring great memories back to people. I'm not trying to use all that, bust it. If I bust it, honey, I'm going to be dead. So I can't bust it. So I have to, do songs that we remember and enjoy. So yes, thank you guys for that. Absolutely. All right. So listen. One of our favorite fast food restaurants turns 100 tomorrow. I know we shouldn't be talking about this and the doctor coming on in a second, but what fast food restaurant do you think is turning 100 tomorrow?
White Castle?
White Castle. White Castle turns 100 years old tomorrow. White Castle they were first opened March the 10th, 1921. And White Castle was
Wow.
something new and creative as a result of the pandemic back then. Keep in mind,
Wow.
a lot of things were birthed out of the pandemic back then.
Mhm.
And so this is that's where White Castle came into play. And White Castle was considered the hottest, trendiest, thing to do. And what were they, 3 cent, 5 cent? But that was a treat for people back then, was to be able to eat at White Castle or go to White Castle. So they turned 100 tomorrow. I didn't know they had been giving people gas for 100 years. I didn't know that. I love them though. Yes.
Oh, good.
I love White Castle.
We may have to have some White Castle tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that'd
I
be cool.
love White Castle. Yes. Amen. Very nice. Shout out to White Castle. Anybody else
Yeah.
got anything else before? Oh, it's almost time for us to do our mask demo. Anybody else got anything?
Yes. I know, Kim, you mentioned about a famed journalist that made his transition, which I was kind of shocked. Roger Mudd.
Roger Mudd died today.
Oh no.
At the age, I believe, of maybe 93. I sent it earlier. He was a famed, he was 93. He was a journalist and a network news anchor. And, just one of those people just you always saw on TV, always dependable to give you the news. And he passed today. He lived a good life. So, job well done. And also, thanks for triggering that. I watched the memorial service of Vernon Jordan, which was at his alma mater where he went to law school, Howard University.
Nice.
And the law school there is going to be named after him now. It's going to be the Vernon Jordan Law School. And the service was just like he was. It was distinguished. It was orderly. It was wonderful. And Vice President Harris was there. Ken Chenault gave remarks, Mark Morial, and some other people. And Bill Clinton told some really great stories. In fact, it was Vernon Jordan that put the idea of running for president to Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton wasn't even thinking about it. And Vernon Jordan was the one who encouraged him to do so. Yeah.
All right. Very good. All right. Thank you so much. Well, with that being said, again, we want to welcome you guys to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. So glad that you guys are here with us this evening. As you know, we're a health and wellness show. So we want to remind you guys the importance of wearing your mask. My mask tonight says, hello, my name is Chat Daddy. Make sure you cover your nose and mouth. Make sure your mask is nice and tight. Yes, you don't need to have it hanging down. You got your mask base. If not, just pretend like you got
my mask. I'm sorry.
Okay. Just pretend like you got your mask. That's all right. Right. There you go. That's how you do that. Pull your mask nice and tight. Yes. All right. Make sure you do that. Also on this show, we want to encourage you guys the importance of washing your hands every chance you get. Soap and water is the most important thing that you can use. If you do not have soap and water, we do hand sanitizer. Chris, if you don't have any, just keep doing that because you look like the person that's enjoying us. Watch. We are called sexy sanitizers on this show. So what we do is we squirt that sanitizer. Look how we just rub. Look. Oh, we look. Oh, right. Oh, look at Chris. He like that nasty man at the place watching us. Right. Right. Like you're at a hand sanitizer peep show. Right. Right.
Ooh, yeah.
That's exactly right. That's what we're talking about. That's all we do on this show. All right, make sure your hands are nice and dry. Social distance, 6 feet each way. You know how we do it. Also, if you're not feeling well, what do we say on this show? Keep your ass in the house.
Keep your ass in the house.
Keep your ass in the house. It's so easy and simple to keep your ass in the house nowadays. It's amazing how simple and easy it is. All right. And, we're not going to encourage you to get the shot. We're going to have quite a few people on here that's going to explain to you all of the options of getting the shot. And with that being said, we'd like to welcome to the show. Welcome back. This is our sister. We love her. She's always wonderful, gives it to us just like it is. She is the CEO of Community HealthNet Health Centers located in Northwestern Indiana. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Famed medical family practitioner, medicine, medical, all of that. She's fabulous. The one and only Dr. Janet Seabrook. Yay!
Yay!
Oh, yes. Oh,
Good evening.
Hey,
Can
Doc.
y'all hear me?
Hi, Dr.
We
Janet.
Hey, good evening.
Hi,
yes.
everyone. I was backstage listening and really
Good to see
enjoying myself and listening to the comments and the various stories. And I was just chomping at the bit to get on with the rest of my family because I was feeling left out backstage. I wanted to be with you all, sharing the moment. So thank you
Yeah.
so much, Chad Daddy, for having me on again on your show and utilizing your platform. It's an honor to be here with you.
Well, Dr. Janet, it's always an honor to have you. We want to honor you as being one of our Women's History honorees. Each night, we've had some of the most amazing ladies come on and talk to us. And tonight, you are our honoree. You've come and helped with this show from the very beginning. Believe it or not, we will be celebrating a year of the Real Chat Daddy show very soon. And you have agreed to be a guest from the moment this show was created online. And so we just want to say we love and appreciate you and thank you for being so good to mankind.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I cannot believe it's been a year already. That is so wonderful for you. And I'm just happy for you and excited for you. So thank you again for the invitation and congratulations on 1 year of being on air.
Thank you so much. Well, Doctor, we have you here tonight to talk about women and their health and self-care. So wherever you want to take this conversation, we're all ears and we always appreciate the information you share with us.
Well, thank you again so much. And so we started out in February, and I'm digressing just a little bit with February being National Heart Awareness Month and really talking to women about looking at their heart health and making sure that they were doing all of those things that they needed to be healthy heart-wise, checking their blood pressure, making sure that their blood pressure was controlled. If they were hypertensive, to make sure they're taking their medications, that they're following up with their doctor, they're getting their appropriate labs, they're checking their cholesterol, they're getting their annual wellness cholesterol check. And so those were some of the things in February that we talked about. And now we're rolling into March, where it's Women's History Month. And in knowing that and realizing that, we want to take what we know or what we learned in February and kind of roll that into March and look at the ways that we can better take care of ourselves as women. As we're honoring women during Women's History Month, we also need to make sure that we're doing the basic self-care that people have really put off during the pandemic. They have put off things like going for their annual health screenings, getting their pap smears, their mammograms, getting their breast exams in the office, talking to their health care providers, actually scheduling that visit. You know, don't take it for granted and say, well, I just want to focus on my sinuses or, you know, whatever is going on at the moment, whatever is acute, and not really looking at things in the long term and your long-term health. And so we have to take into consideration what we're looking at is being healthy for the long term. So when we go to the doctor and maybe we have, you know, runny eyes, sinusitis, pink eye or something like that, and we want to focus on that, and the doctor brings it back to our attention that, oh, you haven't had your flu shot for this year, you're missing your mammogram, and you haven't done your pap smear. So let's sit down and get those things done, and we can talk about, you know, those acute issues that are going on. So I am encouraging women who have put off their health care during the pandemic to now pick up your calendars, look at those dates, call your healthcare provider, See when you can get in for that annual wellness check, make that appointment, and then go to it. Don't miss it. Get the things that you need to get done that you can't have done in the office, and then get a referral and orders to go for those things that you need to have done outside of the office, such as your mammogram. And so I can't say enough, because people have really pushed those things to the background as we try to figure our way through this year-long pandemic that the whole world, not just the United States, has been suffering from. And talking about the pandemic, people have really, especially women, because of the roles that we take on, we carry the whole world on our shoulders. We carry our household on our shoulders. We carry our work life on our shoulders, our children, spouse, significant other. We're carrying all of that on our head. And then we don't think about ourselves. And we're not doing the things that give us that self-care that we need. And I think that as a community, we need to get away from the thought that having to talk with someone, doing talk therapy, is a bad thing. Sometimes just saying something out loud, getting it out, not holding it in, is that self-care that we need. And sometimes having a sounding board, someone who is non-judgmental, someone who is neutral, who can listen to you, maybe not give you any advice, but just listen so that you can get it out of your system. And you'd be surprised, right before this call and me coming on, I was doing that with a friend. They called, they had stressed out, and I listened. I let them cry, scream, cuss a little bit. But when we got finished, they said, thank you for listening. I said, thank you so much. I just needed to talk to someone and get it out. Someone that I knew that would not judge me, that would not hold anything against me, and it'll never come back. They'll never hear. This will not be repeated back to them to rub it in their face. And I think that we need to find people who we can share like that with, but then we also need to find people that will allow us to share that back with them. And I think sometimes as women, we will listen to others, but then sometimes we don't have that sounding board for our own selves. We're other people's sounding boards, but then we don't have anyone that we feel that same level of comfort and safety to release like that. So I'm asking people, and not just women, men too, to find that release and that outlet where all of these pent up things that have been building up inside of us over this last year, let's get them out. Let's let it all out so that when things do get to the place where we can come out, that we aren't taking those aggressions out on the first person that crosses our path and gives us the side eye. If that makes any sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Lovely advice. Really beautiful, beautiful advice. Doctor, I wanted to find out for you, not only is this for women, but just anybody who's watching tonight, are we still continuing with the teleconference doctor's appointments? I noticed you said for women to start scheduling. So in person, for someone who may not have gone to the doctor in over a year, what would be their experience? I've had several doctor's appointments and found them to be safe, clean, all of that. But what would a person expect for their first in-person doctor visit post-pandemic?
That's an excellent question. And you want to plan this. You want to call, you want to make that appointment. But before you do, you want to ask the person who is helping you make that appointment, what measures has the provider, has the doctor's office put in place to maintain safety? And what their response should be is that we're following the CDC guidelines for patient care and safety when they're within our healthcare facility, that we're at the doors, it says no admittance unless you wear a mask. that there is someone who is checking your temperature and asking you questions about COVID and your exposure to COVID. If you have been vaccinated against COVID, if you've had symptoms of COVID. So there should be someone at the door checking your temperature. There should be an area where you can wait, isolated from others, if there's a question of your condition. Then you should be allowed to go into the waiting area where you would then wait for your name to be called to see your healthcare provider. Are there social distancing markers on the floor in the areas where patients are? Have chairs been removed, or are they taped off or roped off where it allows people to socially or physically distance? And that's something we need to fix. It's so ingrained in our heads now to say socially distant, and we've turned that into, that means I can't talk to you. We should have been physically distancing from each other, but not socially. And we socially distanced ourselves for one whole year. Now we're suffering the repercussions of that social distancing by isolating and quarantining ourselves. And we should have been saying physical distancing and not social distancing. And now that is stuck in our head, and we can't change that. Because you see, I realized what I was saying, because we made room, or we made accommodations in our waiting room so people could physically distance, but still be able to have social conversations with each other.
Right.
Wow. So I think that when someone calls in, they should ask those questions prior to making their annual wellness appointment. However, if someone says, you know what, well, I'm not feeling well right now, I feel like symptoms of a cold, but it might be something else. What should I do? That office should be prepared to give you a telehealth visit, to have a telehealth visit with your provider, so they can then give you the advice that you need, whether you need to stay quarantined and reset your physical visit for them at another time. So those are the things that you should look for when you're calling your healthcare provider to schedule that annual wellness screening. You need to feel comfortable going back into the physical space of a doctor's office.
Wow. All right. Any questions? I'll start with you ladies. Kay Renee, any question for Dr. Janet this evening?
No, I mean, Dr. Janet, thank you so much, as always, for providing some quality, informative information, especially the part about physically distancing versus socially distancing. That in itself, I have to change that vernacular. When I do my nuggets, I always say, you do 4 things, and the one thing is social distance. That will be changed first thing in the morning to physically distance, because that is important. Because the fact that we are all isolated, it really affects your psyche. And the fact that when you need someone to talk to and you don't have that ability, it can definitely impact you. So what you've said is just definitely spot on. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I also wanted to make sure that we're getting up and we're moving. No excuses now. The snow has melted. We're not in the middle of a snowstorm anymore. So let's get up and get moving. Even if it's within our house itself or just walking in our neighborhoods, we need to start to get rid of this. I call it the COVID-15.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We had the freshman 15 when you go off to college that first year, and here you are, and there's this big buffet, and it's like more food than you've ever seen in your life outside of a buffet restaurant. You go to college and the football players get to it first. You hope there's still food left by the time you get there. There's so much food you can never eat all that food. There's a salad bar, there's over there. So that's the freshman 15. Now we got the COVID-15 that we have to get rid of. So I'm telling people, get up, get out, get moving, increase your water intake. If you can get those 3 to 4 bottles of 16 ounces inside of you, good. If you can do a half a gallon, even better. If you can do the whole gallon, you're gonna start losing some weight. Trust me on that one. You lose the weight by running to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
I love it. I do. Kim, any
Don't beat
questions?
yourself up. If you
Okay.
set health goals, don't beat yourself up if you don't meet those goals. You know, you start out by, you know, just getting up and moving. Because sometimes the scale is not going to move, even if you've been working out very intensely for a couple of weeks. And sometimes it's just those inches that start to come off first. You know, maybe there's a couple of dimples in the thigh, and you might see one of those dimples start to get less dimply.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh my goodness. Well,
The
Doctor,
left
you talked about the COVID-15. I wish it was just COVID-15 over here. But thank you for that advice and for keeping up with those appointments. You know, I went to the doctor a couple times during this time. I was hesitant at first about going because I didn't want to expose myself. I really stayed inside. But I love what you said about keeping those appointments, keeping up with your numbers, because we want to come out of this thing, you know, as if this thing has taught us nothing else, was that the healthier you are, the better it is for you to fight off this disease, you know,
Right.
in some cases. So thank you for that advice. Great. As you know, wonderful as usual.
Well, thank you so much, and you're very welcome.
Mm-hmm.
What you got over there for me, Chris? Come on.
Yeah,
yes.
Brother Bass, did you have a question for this doctor?
Oh, absolutely.
That's right. What you got, Chris? This
man,
is
I like
a free
that.
doctor's appointment, Chris.
Hey, I'll take it.
Just don't show her anything, though. Don't show her
I shan't.
anything. You know, don't show her anything. But
No, I
yes.
shan't. No, I'm not gonna do
All
things
right,
like
so
that.
go ahead,
No.
brother.
No, thank you. Boy, I'm telling you, being a peep freak now, showing stuff. I don't do stuff like that. So here we go. So first of all, doctor, it's good to see you again, and thank you so much for your information and all that you do. Like Kim, you know, all this was going on. I was very concerned about being safe, but I had to say no to step out on faith to go see my general practitioner. And so when I got there, I was very, very well pleased. I felt very safe. You know, they check you at the door, they ask questions, take your temperature. I had on gloves, mask, and everything else. They were checking it out, and the waiting area, everything has changed. When I got to my general practitioner, to the point where they even they installed there a pharmacy. They didn't have a pharmacy before. Mm-hmm. They have a pharmacy right there where I go for general practitioner, and it was amazing because they even deliver to my house for free with my medicines. So again, this whole thing has had a dynamic change in everybody's life. But from a medical standpoint, you got to get credit when credit's due. I think our best comes out when it's our worst. And just all these people coming forward, whether it's on a professional level, on a personal level with some people, we heed the call to the challenge. And doctor, you're right there at the forefront. I thank you so much for what you do information-wise, because once again, being on the shows with Art in the past and with you kind of helped me galvanize the fact that I got to step out on faith and you know, go to the doctor, get myself checked out, and felt very, very safe when I did that.
Well, I certainly can understand where you're coming from, the places you're coming from, going and visiting your physician, and then noting the changes that they were making to make you feel safe and comfortable so you could come in and continue to get those primary medical services, including being able to have your pharmacy in one site. So doctor writes the script. They're taking a lesson from CVS. You know, a couple of years ago, CVS started those nurse practitioner run clinics where you can come in, you know, sort of like a urgent brief visit, be seen, get a script, get it filled at CVS. And people don't realize that was the whole point of the visit, setting that up in the first place, is to have more prescriptions being filled by having people come to see their providers in their locations. But the innovations, that's what you said, Chris, the innovations that have come out of this pandemic. Telehealth has been there, but it had not ever been used to the extent that it has been used now. We've always had the ability to do Zoom calls, international Zoom calls, business calls, so the person wouldn't have to jump on a jet and go to London or go to Spain or wherever their company's corporate office was. But the pandemic made us take those things that were really on the back burner, and we only did those when we felt necessary, to putting them in the forefront when we were forced to do things that we had the technology for. We just didn't bother to use it because we were doing what we knew best, which was doing things face to face, getting on a jet, flying overseas to go and meet with the corporate office, or driving to Indianapolis or driving to Springfield for a meeting. Now, Springfield is right in your laptop. You know, Indianapolis is right in my laptop. And you think about, in some ways, we've done ourselves a disservice, because back in the day, you could have maybe 2 morning meetings and maybe 1 afternoon meeting. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but sometimes my Zoom calls start at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, and they don't end until 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I would have never, it would have been physically impossible to do all of those meetings. So we're literally doing more work during the pandemic than we used to do before the pandemic. So this technology of telehealth, it was there. We just weren't using it to the extent. And why weren't we using it? Because nobody was paying for it. Centers for Medicaid and Medicare was not paying for it. And once they started paying for it, hey, let me set up telehealth so I can keep seeing my patients.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I will say is that the healthcare system, as far as these appointments being on time and not being a lot of people sitting there waiting to see the doctor, I've got to give them credit for that. And that's because of this pandemic, you know? So yes. And the telehealth appointments, I think they're great as well too. And, you know, it is what it is. So, all right. Well, with that being said, Dr. Janet Seabrook, thank you so very much. Tell everybody how they can find you, follow you, all that great stuff. And we appreciate you. I know that you said until 8 o'clock, so we got about 4 more minutes before we get a bill from you. Yes.
So you can find me on Facebook at Dr. Janet Seabrook. You can also go to my website, drjanetseabrook.com. You can search for me on Twitter, Dr. Janet Seabrook. I'm also on YouTube, Dr. Janet Seabrook. So I'm on all forms of social media. You can just Google my name and I should pop up. Also, Community HealthNet Health Centers, with 6 locations throughout Northwest Indiana, soon to be 8. We'll be starting 2 new school-based health centers in Hammond High School and 2 of the Hammond, Indiana high schools. So we're real excited about that. Spring is coming. The snow is melted. We'll be able to move our mobile unit out of storage and then hit the streets, because we just received our Johnson & Johnson vaccine today. And hopefully on Monday, can be doing one and done, getting people in the door and out the door with their Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So I'm excited about that.
Yay! Very good.
Dr. Janet, can we come to you to get the vaccine then?
Now, the state right now, because the state gave it to us, so they're doing Indiana residents only, but you guys know.
Oh, okay.
No.
Right.
Once they open it up.
I'll keep you posted. Right.
Okay.
Right. Yes.
I do a road trip to see Miss Janet.
Absolutely.
Because you know what I say, family first. Family first.
Yes, very good. That's right. Family first. We appreciate you. All right. Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Dr. Janet Seabrook, CEO of Community HealthNet, 6, soon to be 8 locations in Northwest Indiana. Our Women's History Month honoree for the night. Our favorite family medicine practitioner on this show. We love you. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Janet Seabrook, we love you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Love you too. Take care, Chad. Bye. Bye.
All right. Good night. Bye-bye. Good night, Doc. Oh, boy, that was great. We just love Dr. Janet Seabrook. She's awesome. So amazing. Yes. She really is. All right. Well, for those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. I am. In the box next to me, she's there now, is the amazing Miss K. Renee of Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge. We appreciate her so. In the box down below me right here is Miss Kim Coleman, aka Sister Girl Speaks. And over there, no, right there, is my brother, one and only Mr. Chris Bays, better known as Boom Shakalaka. And these three people have been here with me this evening to keep you entertained, chit chat, talk. Most importantly, we've had a great time so far this evening. This show has gone by very fast. And Dr. Janet Seabrook is just so amazing. Are you guys okay? Everybody enjoying yourself?
Yes, very informative.
Absolutely.
Very informative. She was. Yeah, I really
Very
enjoyed
good.
it.
Oh, well, we have a little message here. Dr. Seabrook will be hosting a walkathon, annual breast cancer awareness 5K walk. So make sure you guys check that out. That's the information there, drjanetseabrook.com. All right. We appreciate you guys so much for that one. Coming up tomorrow night on the show, we continue to celebrate Women's History Month. Tomorrow night, we'll welcome, where are my notes? Let me see. Oh, here's my notes right here. Hold on. We'll welcome a Black female owner of a pest solution company. She's a second generation exterminator. Now, I know a lot of you ladies consider yourselves heartbreakers. I know a lot of you ladies consider yourselves widow makers. I know a lot of you ladies consider yourselves all of these type of things. Well, this woman has taken it to a whole new level. She's an exterminator. Sip tea.
Wow.
Yes, let me sip my tea because I have something to say, but I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to say it.
Now, see, I didn't say what type of exterminator, but pest control. Pest control. But it depends on how you look at your relationship.
Right.
Your relationships could be considered pest control. Right. So we will leave that there. And then because spring is right around the corner, tomorrow night we're going to talk about sprucing up your space and outdoor space. A lot of people are still not big on doing big gatherings. So whether you're going to have people over to your home, what you can do to safely have people over, once everybody's vaccinated, all that. So we're going to talk about outdoor seating. We're going to talk about patio essentials and things you can do to get your house ready for company to come over. Kind of like what we said at the beginning of the pandemic of things you need to have in the house, stuff like this. This will be where you can have people come over and entertain comfortably. All right.
Okay.
Yay. So tomorrow night, the Wednesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show right here. Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. Please go like the Real Chat Daddy Show on Facebook and YouTube. All right. So our final discussion this evening is something that I have been wanting to dig our teeth and heels into. Looney Tunes iconic character Pepé Le Pew is under fire for rape culture. It has also been reported that Le Pew will also not appear in the upcoming LeBron James film Space Jam 2. As you all know, that this is a sequel to the 90s Looney Tune movie starring Michael Jordan. Le Pew appeared alongside the Chicago Bulls legend in the first film. And also, news has broke today that Warner Brothers Studios is also looking at the Speedy Gonzalez character to be officially removed from the Looney Tunes brand. And because of this, it is a racial stereotype of Mexican people. So here we are, African Americans. Here we are, a show of what I consider somewhat very astute and intelligent people. I'm curious to know, what do you all think about this, especially Pepé Le Pew now being considered a rapist? Let's start off with that.
I don't even know how to process it. Evidently, someone on the higher ups feels as if or has heard that this is offensive to people. I think back when the song "Baby It's Cold Outside," people were saying that was offensive to people because he says about putting something, in her drink.
Right.
I don't find these things offensive. But if someone else does, then we have to be sensitive to that. It may be, it's kind of like my argument about Washington Redskins. I personally don't find it offensive, although I do have Native American heritage, but there are a lot of Native Americans that did. And so the Washington Redskins had to change their name. So as we look, and I know we'll talk more about this, and I have a couple of examples of the parameter of how things used to be. You can't do the things that you used to do anymore. You can't say things. I have a couple of examples of that. We could talk about it later, of things that just couldn't be on TV now. So.
Okay. All right. Base, Kim, K Renee, anybody want to chime in at this point?
There was a time that I think we lived in a time where this wasn't even in our atmosphere, right? It was prevalent, but it wasn't purposeful. And I think that I see both sides. I was reading a tweet from a Black man that said, you think about Pepé Le Pew and you think of his character. He's, loving this cat, wants to woo her. She's saying no. He keeps pursuing her. She's still saying no. And I get it. It's unfortunate though. You think about it, ladies and gents, that we're in the world of the internet. We're in the world of Google where you can just find anything and everything. And I think because of that, it's just kind of accelerated and some to the point exacerbated this culture. Like him, we have many examples that we've grown up with. You think about, of course, the classic Archie Bunker and All in the Family. That was the ultimate racist. And he said a lot of stuff that you damn well can't say now, right? We were talking, Kim, you brought the subject about Monique and the Parkers, about the reverse sexual harassment. Monique was doing similarly to Pepé Le Pew, right, to the professor. So there's just things, it's unfortunate that we've come to this meeting in the rubber in the road, but, some things that perhaps that you may not find offensive to the average person, it is. So, I feel bad for Mr. Le Pew, but as Speedy Gonzalez, I don't know why they're removing him. Because he's Mexican and that's a problem. If he said something, outlandish, I don't remember him saying anything outlandish, just getting them legs and just keep going. That's all I remember.
Yeah, but have you looked at how Pepé Le Pew looked? Pepé Le Pew looked a big sombrero, a mouth. Yes. Not Pepé Le Pew. Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Gonzalez. I know what you're talking about. He represents the culture of if you're in Mexico, but I don't understand why they're removing him. I don't know if he said anything outlandish or very scathing, but like Chris said, change is evident. This type of change, I don't know if a lot of people are ready for, but I do feel sorry for Mr. Le Pew. Won't get, his residuals now because he won't be Space Jam, but you would think he would have evolved after the first Space Jam, but maybe he hadn't, and that's the reason why they have to remove him. I just,
okay.
I'm at a quandary.
Before I let Chris give his rebuttal, I'm just gonna say this. I knew Pepé Le Pew was a little off anyway, for the simple reason is he was always trying to pursue a cat. Why did he never go after a fellow skunk? He never. You know what I'm saying? So Pepé Le Pew was out of his league to begin with. He should have been with a fellow skunk. A cat, she was like, dude, me and you can never be. This is just like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. We could never be. Base, help me with this.
The fact that I'm listening to you read the story earlier, Art, and you said Le Pew like he's a real being. Le Pew comma.
Yeah.
And you start like,
Yeah.
you goddamn it, you got to be kidding me. Now, don't get me wrong. Let's go with the whole thing about when I was watching, like everybody was watching the Warner Brothers cartoon, the Pepé Le Pew. I just knew he stank to be damned. That's the first thing I knew about Pepé Le Pew. And he was trying to get with this female cat. I mean, that's what I saw. I didn't see anything rapey about it. Now, I'm just telling you what I saw. I didn't know he stank to be damned, and he just wanted to get with this female cat. That's all I knew about. I think it could be an ambush against Warner Bros. Because prior to this story, there was a story out a while back about Elmer Fudd contributing to gun violence. Now, let's back up a little bit. If I was to just have a thought process, I don't think most inner city, quote unquote, or black neighborhoods or any neighborhoods that have gangsters in it, that have guns, say the reason why I got a gun, G, is because Elmer Fudd. No.
Right.
No, yes, that's a stretch, Doc. And again, it seems like there's an on attack about these Warner Brother characters. I don't know, maybe somebody has something personal they want to go after, and agenda-wise. Because why all of a sudden you had Elmer Fudd, you got now Pepé Le Pew and Speedy Gonzalez. And don't be wrong, certain things are warranted. Like back in the day, I was doing some research. So Tweety Bird, when he first appeared, with his appearance back in the day, around 1940, he wasn't yellow. He was flesh tone. And the board then said, look, you got to put some color in him because he looks naked.
Oh.
So goes back all the way about morals, how does it look, and everything else. And don't leave out the fact that most of all cartoons had people, the characters doing blackface.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go back to that as well.
Right.
The thing about it is, I'm surprised the Tom and Jerry movie came out recently. That's animal violence.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's true.
If we must go there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So again, but again, the fact that you're seeing all these images happen. So you mean to tell me that if you watch a cartoon that dealt with violence, that means that the child watching it is going to go out and take a hammer, hit somebody over the head with it? No, I believe that it's entertainment. Don't get me wrong. A person can see something altogether different than I see it. And I guess for me, like for example, go back to the whole gun thing with Elmer Fudd. I'm sorry, that still makes me laugh. The fact that you're talking about a cartoon character that goes after not rabbits, and he's contributing to the gun. I don't know. I guess the same thing to say about Daffy Duck. I can watch Daffy Duck. Hey, he's black. I'm getting offended because he's black. And now you throw in anything else. You can throw in Tweety Bird. You could throw in Elmer Fudd, Daffy Duck, because people getting probably offended by speech impediments.
Right. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
We're not too far from that. They're not there already.
Right.
Right.
Because now here's the deal. And wait, Janet Crawford brought up a cartoon that I never liked it. I never liked this cartoon when I was younger. See how far I went back? I said liked it. I never liked this cartoon. She brought up a really valid point because I was sick of people. Why? How come you don't talk like the Fat Albert characters? I don't talk like them. You know what I'm saying? What was it? Mush Mouth and
right.
You know, yeah, all of that. Right. To me, that was offensive back then.
Yeah. I just think that, I was thinking about things that, as Kay Renee said, Archie Bunker. If you look at, if getting off of the cartoon, if you think about the Honeymooners, he threatened to hit her every week.
That's right.
That's
you to the moon. Right.
Archie, you talked about his racial implications. Archie was verbally abusive and emotionally abusive to that woman. He really was.
Not only to Edith, but his whole family, his daughter, and what do you call his son-in-law? Meathead. All the time.
Like a Pollock. And then I was looking recently at the movie Boomerang. That movie could not have survived during the Me Too movement. He was sexually harassing that lady in the movie. And I'm going to give you all one more that I thought about when I was watching Harry and Meghan. There's an episode of The Jeffersons where Jenny and Lionel are getting ready to have a baby. And George Jefferson goes to confer with the nurse about what color the baby will look like.
That's right.
Yeah, I remember
That's
that.
right.
I remember
And when
that.
she comes out and he first sees her, the first thing he says is, she's black.
Right.
So I just want everybody to know they couldn't have aired that episode now because of what we're going through.
And even the reruns, they better not air it because certain networks do carry the Jeffersons. So that one, they need to just take it off. You're right.
And the last one I'm going to mention is the Sanford and Son episode where he's in a courtroom. And as funny as it is, he asked the cop, do you ever arrest white people? And the cop says yes. He said, look at all these N-words in here. You could have a Tarzan movie. Now it's funny.
Right.
But it ain't gonna ride now.
Right.
So we could spend here all night and go through this with cartoons and sitcoms and everything.
Yep.
Well, we had a couple of comments from people who are viewing us tonight. Shout out to our girl Red Beans and Brown Rice. We love her. We do. She have to come hang out with us one night. As she said before, you know, a lot of these TV shows, and I agree too, were reflections of the times we were in. Same way Lynn Klein said the same thing too, that All in the Family was speaking to that demographic at the time. You have to realize when Good Times came along, you know, they were trying to show this poor, meager family surviving, scratching, all of that. And you know, so because I always wondered how Winona lived so well in the project. You know, like she was balling.
She had a job. She had a job, Art. She worked in a boutique.
But she was balling. She was balling though. See what I'm saying?
Had a job.
Was she in there on Section 8? Was she paying for rent in the project? You know what I'm saying? Because she was.
But she had a job.
No, but that used to bother my father something terrible. He was like,
"What about Winona?
How can she afford that dress living in the projects?" I mean, he would say that all the time.
See,
some of those dresses that were low, that wasn't project money.
Right.
She worked in a boutique.
Dress. She
may have got a
discount, and she probably went to Marshall Fields.
Right.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, babe. Help me out here.
Let me say this on defense of the people from the projects. I worked on a program one time through CHA where they were doing reflections of the projects. There were people who had units in the projects that would blow some of these Michigan Avenue places away. Where the families had been there so long that they altered and did whatever they wanted. I went to a friend of mine's house, and this was way before the flat screens we have now. These were more the big back TVs. These people had a projected TV in every room. It was so scary to watch TV because you was in them rooms, and you know, so interesting. Base, what do you think?
You know, I want to detail we talk about Good Times. The character of Florida Evans was changed. As you know, it was a spinoff from Maude. She was Maude's maid. John Amos appeared in a couple of episodes as a firefighter. He was a firefighter to Florida. I mean, as far as the standpoint of them being married, they were really middle class. And all of a sudden, they changed them up and they put them in the project in Chicago. I was not a fan of that. So I thought, when I heard about the spinoff, okay, you got a middle class family coming up, but they changed the whole dynamic. So again, when you let other people control our images over the time, this is what we get. And this is a sad commentary because just what would have happened had they stuck with the original format of Florida and her husband being a fighter, working, you know, in middle class and having money and not worrying about, you know, him working at the car wash to getting laid off, something like that, and things of that nature. It would have been a whole different show, but they didn't want that type of show. But those type of shows paved the way for the Cosby Show on NBC. And you know, me, my wife, and kids down the road. So it has to be a level of progression. But that always pained me because it just could have been a wonderful program. You had two great stage actors in, Estelle Roll and John Amos. And John Amos, I told people before, look, this was the man that was the understudy to James Earl Jones on Broadway.
That's right. That's right.
So he brought it. So my thing is,
and that's why he left Good Times after some time, because he really liked Esther Roll. They were like, look, we can't deal with this type of script anymore. And that's the reason why he was killed off a Good Time, because he was like, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Esther Roll is documented in Ebony back in 1975 about the buffoonery of Jimmy Walker back then in real time. So again, these stereotypes, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And, it's just an ongoing thing. Like, for example, I mentioned earlier about Harry Belafonte hosting the Tonight Show. It wasn't long after that it was Diane Carroll that got her role on Julia. So things happen for a reason, the timeline of things. So we have to embrace the fact that the positive images are great, but don't forget about the negative, because the negative we always have to fight against.
Right. Right. Yes, absolutely. Wow. Anything else we want to add to this conversation? Great conversation so far. Janet Crawford says she thought that the Cosby Show was unrealistic. What do you guys think about that?
I politely disagree. That was my life coming up. My parents were, middle-class workers. My mom was the principal. My dad was the manager at Airlie Funeral Home. And my sister and me, we lived middle class. We always interacted with our families. We always interacted with our, my grandparents and my cousins. So that was that I saw my life on that screen. So I had no problem with it. It was beautiful.
Anybody else comment?
It's funny. There's an interview that August Wilson does with Charlie, the gentleman they used, Charlie Rose.
Yes.
And and he asked August Wilson about the Cosby Show. And anybody can watch it on YouTube. And he basically says that the Cosby Show is not realistic, that it doesn't depict Black life. And I think August was saying that from a standpoint of what his life was. My life was like Chris. I grew up on the west side of Chicago, and then we subsequently moved to Flossmoor, 2-parent home, 2 professionals, although mom stayed at home most of the time. So it was, and when people would come to our house, because most of my friends' parents were divorced, they would say, "This is the Cosby Show." So
okay,
that was what was said to me. So that's my comment on that.
See, I did not run into divorce parents until I got to high school. See, in elementary school, that was unheard of. Everybody had a mama and a daddy at home. Anybody that I was friends with in elementary school that had a step mom or stepdad and their parent had got married again, we used to always say that those were the kids that got bonus Christmas. You mean to tell me your dad and your stepmama bought you a bike and your mama and that type of thing? It was only when I got to high school that I started finding out that people's parents got divorced. I was like, what? So that's interesting. What do you feel, Kay Renee?
Like all of you, I was blessed to have a 2-parent home. I did have a few of my friends, one in particular who was, had a divorced parent. Going to high school, it was very diverse. So I think the Cosby Show was realistic to a certain degree. In some instances, there was some realism because, Claire Huxtable, aptly played by Felicia Rashad, she had that mother wit, she would definitely look at you, give you one look and beat you down. That was Claire's theme, my mother. So, and I grew up with the Cosbys. I was in high school when the Cosby Show aired. So to see a positive family gave me confidence. It's like, okay, I can see myself on it. And then, of course, Different World came. That was a spinoff. I was in college when Different World hit. So, I'm glad, like Chris said, there are certain shows that have evolved. It wouldn't have come if we did not have a Good Times, because I have a story about Good Times, which is interesting. I did an internship with the United States Customs Service. and one of my my boss was Pakistani. We had an audit to do in Appleton, Wisconsin. Now you know in Appleton, Wisconsin, there are too many of us. And so after we finished work for the day, we had dinner, and this little white girl said, "Was trying to touch me." And I'm like, what's going on with this little white girl? And the mother said, "Oh, she means no harm. She's never seen a black person. All black persons, people we see are on our good times." And it took it took my boss. He was like, "Karen, don't get upset." But that's, you know, when I hear good times, I don't have a favorable impression because of that experience. But I understand now the evolution. Because of good times, you have better shows, better black shows that have come along the path. So, you know, I think all of us, we have been blessed to have parents, you know, 2-parent households, you know, having siblings and having the comforts of life. But then there are others who have not had that luxury. And I think you know, for me, I'm just grateful. The 80s for me, 80s and 90s, that was my decade.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. Anything else in closing anybody wants to say about this conversation? Base, you got me over here cracking up. Le Pew. Le Pew is, I think Le Pew started in the 40s too. So I noticed on social media, they got, you know, like the epithet of Le Pew now, you know, so I'm devastated over Pepé Le Pew. That's all I'm gonna say, you know.
I didn't know he would get that much press. I didn't know he existed. I thought he was a cartoon character. I didn't know he, you know, pulled a contract. I had no idea his other life that Le Pew had.
It's almost like the Road Runner. You remember the Road Runner? I mean, you know, I'll be surprised if he'll be around. He does some stuff too to that coyote. Come on now.
I mean, like I told you all in the meeting, you know, Giggle Snort Hotel, BJ and the Dirty Dragon. That as I got older became a whole different meaning. Mother Plum Tree. I mean, the Three Stooges. The Three Stooges was three of the most violent white men you ever want to meet. They could never.
That's right.
Right, the Three Stooges were such violent white men, and then you know Buckwheat, how he never was able to get a hairstylist on that show. Little Rascals, all of that.
Rascal.
Right, yeah.
With alfalfa, that thing sticking up in his head. I mean, they talked about alfalfa like a dog, you know. So we can go.
If you go back in time,
on.
Alfalfa was the original Gorilla Glue girl.
Right,
he was. They got that hand stick on, you know. He put too much glue up there.
Yep, Alfalfa. He sure was, because that hair did not move. That's right.
It's funny. It's funny, Chris. You mentioned about Miss Teska Brown, because there's a backstory. I sent it to both Art and Kim. There was another young lady who was portraying her as the Gorilla Glue girl, and she started a GoFundMe account, and they shut her down. Thank the Lord. Okay. I said, you know, that story will probably go all the way up until the next century, but go figure.
I know, right? Jeez.
Well, listen, when the show goes off this evening, don't you guys jump out yet. I got something to tell you guys that's hilarious, and we'll talk about this down the road on the show. All right. Well, before we get out of here tonight, we want to remind you guys again that we're still in the midst of a global pandemic. We're actually coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the shutdown. And so we will commemorate the 1-year anniversary of the shutdown that will be coming very soon, even though the CDC is relaxing some of the rules and regulations. We ask that you please join our campaign here on the show, where we will continue to wear masks in public places. We will continue to try to protect each other, whether or not you've gotten a vaccine or not. It's all about staying safe and healthy. Most public places will require you to continue to still wear a mask. So make sure you put your mask on nice and tight. This mask says, "Hello, it's me. Make sure you cover your nose and your mouth. Yep, very good. Cover your nose and your mouth. Also, hand sanitize. That's very important for you to do. Make sure you sanitize your hands. We are sexy sanitizers on this show. This is how we do it. We go sanitize like this, sanitize like that. Mhm. Go on, base. Go on, base. Yeah, get it, base. Sanitize like this, sanitize like that. We have an OnlyFans page. We'll be there about 11 o'clock tonight. You guys can join us. You have to pay to watch us sanitize then, but we hope you will join us. On this show, we're reminding everyone that we want you to wear your mask until Juvember of 2025. That's Junvember of 2025. If you happen to find Juvember on your calendar before 2025, you're more than welcome to stop wearing that damn mask. But until the government implements Juvember of 2025, guess what? We're going to be wearing a mask, baby. We're going to be wearing a mask. Social distance, 6 feet each way.
Physical distance. Physical distance.
Physical distance. Physical. Yep, physical. She's right. Physical, because that really is not social.
It is.
Right.
It is.
Physical. That is physical distance. Right.
That's
Because
right.
when we're flight attendants, we're telling you emergency exits are that way, and that way. But we're telling you to get up and get out. Right. All right. Very good. Physical distance. Also, we want to remind you guys to what else we tell them all the time, K Renee.
And if you're not feeling well, keep your ass in the house.
Yep, keep your ass in the house. It's so easy, it's so simple, does not cost you anything to keep your ass in the house. Your feelings might be hurt, but I guarantee you will stay alive. You will stay alive. Okay.
Amen.
All right. Well, with that being said, we're gonna go over to Brother Bass, let him do his closing thoughts this evening. Tell everybody how they can find you, follow you, Brother Bass, and it's been a pleasure as always.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Art. Thank you to K Renee. Thank you, Kim, for being a part of this. It's been more than fun. It's more than my honor to be here. Best way to contact me, go to facebook.com and type in Chris Bass, CHRISB, as in broadcasting, ASE. I'm the guy with the fedora hat, looking quite dapper. There's 600 Chris Basses behind the original. Become my friend. Go tell 5 of your friends and 8 of your enemies that Chris Bass is in the air.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Coming to us live from Oklahoma is our girl, Miss Kim Coleman, aka Sister Girl Speaks. Go right ahead, my dear, and give them your closing thoughts.
Well, I just want to tell everybody one thing I forgot to add is when President Biden gives that speech on Thursday, that will be the exact 1-year anniversary of the shutdown. And he's going to talk about, people who we've lost and everything like that. So I just wanted to get that in. And I just want to tell everybody, thanks for letting me be on. Chris and K Renee and Art, it was fun. You all keep praising God, keep praying to God, and keep pushing for it is. Whatever you believe in God for today, you can reach me on Twitter and on Instagram at Sister Girl Speaks or Facebook at Kim Coleman.
Yeah. You
know I had to get my little politics in there.
Baby, you have to. That's what we love you for. That if you've not figured it out yet, you are our political correspondent on this show. That's what we want to hear. Absolutely. And thank you, because I knew the 1-year anniversary was coming up, all of that.
Yes,
so we appreciate you. Absolutely. Okay, good. Absolutely. I got a surprise for us coming up on the show Thursday night. I wonder what time is the president going to talk. Doggone it. We need to find out.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock our time.
Yes.
Okay, then I need to move our guests up and we'll just have a quick condensed show Friday night. And that way you girls can promote your show, all of that good stuff. All right. K Renee, go right ahead, my dear, and close us on that out.
As always, thank you guys for tuning in with all of us. Chris Bass, I love you dearly. My sister Kim, can't wait to kiki with you on Friday, and Art, my brother. So for those who want to follow me, you can reach me on via Facebook, K Renee Mason. I also have Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge, Twitter, as well as Instagram, Karen's_Nuggets. And here is your nugget for tonight. We realize the importance of our voices only When We Are Silenced. And that is by Malaya Yousafzai, who is the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate. And she's also an activist. And that's Live Your Truth Tuesday.
Yay. You did the doggone thing. Is that Live Your Truth Tuesday? You did a good job with that. That is wonderful. Okay, very good. All right. Are we all back in one piece? We are. Very good. All right. Well, with that being said, coming up Saturday, April 3rd, yours truly, Art Chat Daddy Sims, will be conducting a 2-hour webinar on how you can get into the media business. I'm not talking about to become an anchor person, any of that. I'm talking about how can you be a guest on major shows, whether it's radio, television, or digital media platforms. I'm offering a training of teaching people what they need to do from the trying to land the interview to getting the interview to even what happens after the interview and how you can remain a regular fixture on some of your favorite programs. So make sure you guys do me a favor, go and get booked. I'm doing a special right now. It's $100 and it's until the 17th. After that, it's $125 per person. The information is bookings at BOOKING at therealchatdaddy.com to hold your space. You guys will really enjoy this. And then I'll be doing private lessons to tutor people on what they need to know to get on Good Morning America, the Today Show, all of those great shows like that.
Awesome.
All right. Well, this has been a great show this evening. If anybody you know is feeling as if they are wanting to commit suicide, we've just put the suicide prevention Lifeline number up on the screen. Is it up there yet?
Yes, it is.
There it is. Okay, very good. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 800-273-8255. Again, that's 800-273-8255. Help someone. Dr. Wanda Parker will be back Monday night to talk about Meghan Markle's wanting to commit suicide. So that ought to be great as well, too. For more information about yours truly, do me a favor, go visit therealchatdaddy.com. It's very easy, very simple. Does not cost you anything to visit therealchatdaddy.com. Nope, I wish it did, but it does not. It's not a pay-per-view. Sorry, it's not a pay-per-view. It's not like I have bad music playing in the background, any of that. It is just a basic website. Thank you to everybody who's been watching us this evening. Janet Crawford, Joseph Bowling, Miss Wamelda, everybody. I love you guys so much. Can you guys still hear me? Wave your hand if you can still hear me. Oh, good. Okay. All right. Well, I love you guys. Thank you, Janet. We appreciate everybody. We out of here. Debbie Green, all of you guys, we love you. We'll see you tomorrow night, beautiful people. We're out. Yay. Bye. Here we go.
Stay
Good night.
safe.
Good night, everybody. Stay safe. Good night.